What's up guys, Macadii here. Now today I'm bringing you guys the first top 5 that I've ever done on this channel, so I'm really hyped for this. What we're going to be doing is I'm actually going to be running through the top 5 Mega Evolutions that I just cannot stand. Now this is purely from a competitive standpoint rather than a design standpoint or anything like that. So some of these you may already know, some of these may surprise you, we shall have to see. But anyway, if you do enjoy this series, don't forget to hit the like button down below as well. And do let me know as well in the comment section what your top 5 hated ones are, because I'm very interested to see what your guys' opinion on this is. So without further ado, what we're going to do is jump straight into it. So at number 5, we have got Mega Audino. Now, this may come as a surprise for some of you, because it is normally hated on for its poor design and poor stats and everything like that, but actually, this thing is currently still at NU, and it is an absolute defensive monster. Trying to break this thing is so hard, and as soon as you lose your wall breakers, or at least your strong poison types to try and take it out, such as Garbodor or something like that, you're in a huge amount of trouble. It's incredibly bulky with either Rest and Sleep Talk to make a sort of Crow-Dino set, I think that's what people call it, or it goes with Wish Protect and Heal Belt, and it is just almost impossible to take down. Once your counter to this is gone, it is almost GG, because it can just tank hit so well with that incredible bulk for NU, and just completely stall you out from there. So really do not like this one. In my personal opinion, it is about time it should really move up to RU. Okay, so number 4, we do have Mega Pichet. This thing just drives me up the wall, I must admit, especially when it was used a whole lot in RU. The amount of Hurricane spam from this thing is just absolutely insane, because it's literally, its only real move is you have U-turn, Hurricane spam, and Heat Wave, and that's it really. And all you do is you just sit there, you go Hurricane until you get to a point where you know you can't Hurricane for free, and you just U-turn out and you get away, and you can come back in later on and you can Hurricane spam. Well, it's definitely not something I appreciate, and especially with the 30% chance to confuse as well, it just really drives me nuts, because you bring in a special wall to handle it, thinking you can handle it, say it's a free hit KO or something like that, and you get confused, and you hit yourself in confusion, and then you've got to try and decide, do I stay in and take another 50% chance, or do I switch out? And invariably they then U-turn out, so they caught, yeah. It is just a horrible thing, and I am so glad that it ended up being banned from RU, because it just drove me crazy. Anyway, moving on. For number 3, we do have Mega Sableye. Now, this thing really winds me up, especially up in OU, because it's one of those Pokemon where you've got to spend a lot of effort trying to make sure that your team can handle it. Because if you can't handle it and you face one, then it's pretty much GG, as long as they play it sort of carefully and also know exactly when to set up, which does happen quite often, to be honest. The main reasons I really don't like this guy is, first of all, he does get Prankster on that first turn that he Mega Evolves, so he can get a Prankster Will-O-Wisp or something like that up, or even a Prankster Recover, to make sure that he's back up at a really good amount of HP. He becomes absolutely insanely bulky, and trying to wall break, especially on that physical side if he's invested, it is incredibly difficult to do. Also, on top of that, he does pack the Magic Bounce, which means you cannot taunt him, so you cannot stop him from stall breaking or setting up or doing anything like that. You just have to attack him. And when it's just so bulky and so defensive, it is so hard to try and beat this thing. You can't exactly wall it as well. You can't just send in a physical wall or anything like that, otherwise you just get set up on all day. It has absolutely insane bulk, as I said, and you also need to then have a powerful wall breaker on your team, or at least one burn immunity to be able to then come in and handle it. I mean, Stallbreaker Heatran does work really well against it, but the problem is if it does pack that Calm Mind, it can start setting up, you cannot taunt it to stop it and stop it recovering as well. It can burn physical attackers, it's bulky on the physical side, it is just an absolute horrible mess of an evil Mega Evolution that I would much rather didn't exist. So number 2 on our list is Krobo. I do mean Slowbro, I do apologise. But with Slowbro, a lot of you guys have heard me rant and rage about this Mega, and I feel I have good reasoning for this. This thing has an insane physical bulk, and also coupled with the fact that it gets Calm Mind, means it can start setting up, and then you've got Krobo. And now, Krobo, if you do not have a water immunity or anything like that, it can definitely sweep teams if you don't have the correct answers to it, and also, or if you've been removed, and also you let it get even just one Calm Mind up, allows it to get a really good amount of special bulk, And also on top of this as well, it can also be turned on its head. If it decides to go for a Trick Room and start sweeping that way, if it's an offensive one, then you're in a big spot of bother there if you haven't prepped for that one as well. So it is something that I just absolutely detest. The fact that you almost have to make sure you have something as an answer to Krobo in OU just drives me absolutely nuts. But anyway, what we're going to do now is we're going to jump on to number 1, which some of you guys may already know. So finally on our list, we do have the Mega Kangaskhan. What to say about this mon? Because this mon is just absolutely disgusting. When it was an OU, it was such a pig to try and deal with because of the fact it got parental bond with power up punch. Now this means it could get it's effectively an SD boost with damage, and it was just absolutely insane. You couldn't bring a steel type to handle it because it would just get power up punched on all day, and then if it set up too much, then it would just sucker punch everything and just sweep through from there. It got access, as I said, to Sucker Punch, which meant that even if you tried to out-prioritize it, or do anything like that, or outspeed it, it could still smack you in the face with a Sucker Punch, which meant things like Gengar and stuff like that, no, you cannot try and beat a Mega Kangaskhan with that. Double Edge in return was just absolutely punishing, especially at +2, and if you got this guy to +3, that was pretty much it. There was no way you were going to beat this. If they had walls that would try to sort of T-wave you or something like that, you do have base 100 speed, so you could outspeed a lot of things. On top of this as well, it did have a semi-broken set as well with Seismic Toss, which would protect parental bonds meant that you actually hit twice. Now that means that, well, most Pokemon that have HP less than 100 and isn't invested, it actually means that you're guaranteed a 4-hit KO with that, which meant you could do 2-hit KO pretty much the entire metagame with that. You try and bring something in on the Switch to try and counter it, nope. That's going to then be 2-hit KO by that. So it was just an absolute pain to try and deal with. The only real ways you could deal with it is pretty much to status it, or try and set up something like a Trick Room. But even if you set up Trick Room, it still had the Sucker Punch. Talonflame was the other option, but even then, Kangaskhan had really, really good bulk. So trying to deal with that as well, you really had to weaken it. So you ended up having to sack off several mons even just to try and handle this guy. So yeah, absolutely disgusting. If I could have anything in Pokemon that was just disappeared, never existed, this would be the thing. So yeah, absolutely disgusting. Well, there you have it, guys. That was my top 5 most hated Mega Evolutions. Now, if you did enjoy this, don't forget to leave a like down below as well. I would really appreciate that. That would let me know if you guys enjoy these top 5s or whether you want me to stop doing them. But also, on top of that, leave down in the comments below your top 5 most hated Mega Evolutions, because I'm very interested to see what your guys' opinion on this as well. Also, if there is a specific top 5 you would like me to cover in the future, do let me know down there as well. I would really appreciate any suggestions and feedback as well, because I want to try and make sure I get the best content out for you guys. So I'm going to head off here, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.